What's up, Notjust developers? Welcome back to a new live stream. Today, we're continuing our daily streams during this December, and I'm doing this for Notjust Hack. If you are not aware, Notjust Hack is our 1 month-long hackathon for mobile developers that takes place from December 1st to December 31st. So, if it's still December, there is time for you to also participate. All you have to do is build an application, launch it to the market, to App Store or Play Store, and then submit this application to the hackathon, and you have a chance to win great prizes such as a MacBook Pro M4. More information about the hackathon you can find at notjust.dev. And while you're there, make sure to sign up so that you will receive all the important information that we will send about the hackathon. Now, my plan for this duration, for this hackathon, while you are going to build your own application, I also want to kind of participate, even though I'm not competing for the prizes, but I'm participating as well, and in a way showing you how you would participate and build these applications. But my goal, my personal goal, is going to be to build and launch 4 applications in 4 weeks. So I have exactly 1 week for every single application to build, launch, and get it on the market. And I'm going to document everything with daily streams, such as this one. So if you're interested, if you want to follow my journey, and if you're interested in the hackathon, make sure to subscribe to our channel, not to miss our daily streams. And today we are going to continue working on the first application. This is day 4 of actual building. It's Thursday, so I'm wrapping up my first application. I have after some keyword research, I decided to build an Invoice Generator application. The main flow of this application is already done. Yesterday, we worked on building and submitting the application to the store. Behind the scenes, I'm still working on preparing some screenshots. In a second, I'm going to show you everything that I have so far. But the goal for me and for you as well should be to get the application on the market as soon as possible with a working version. It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to solve at least one problem. For me, that was generating invoices as PDFs. And as soon as I have that, I'm going to push it. And behind the scenes, later I can improve and add new features. Before we actually go into the building mode, let me just remind you that previous week we have launched the React Native Mastery, the most up-to-date and the best React Native and Expo course that you can find out there. I worked on this for the last year, and I'm trying to teach you the tech stack behind the top applications out there. And here I'm talking about React Native, Expo Router, which is huge in 2024 and going forward, TypeScript, Zustand for global state management, Tanstack Query for fetching data remotely, Reanimated and Gesture Handler for building gesture-based animation, and these are only some of the libraries. This course is focused on hands-on experience, so by following it, you're going to build 7 real-world projects and gain this experience, not only knowledge, but actual experience and confidence to build any kind of application. We already have more than 125 students, and if you want to be one of them, make sure to go ahead at notjust.dev/React Native Mastery. And during this December, we actually have daily discounts. And actually today, the discount is 17%. This is only today because tomorrow it's going to be already 16%. Every day decreases by 1. So if you wanted to join the course, now is the perfect time. This is going to be the lowest price you can join at. So make sure to make a Christmas gift for yourself and invest in your education. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and continue our process and our build for Notjust Hack. Let me just say hello everyone who is joining us live. How are you doing, guys, today? How is everyone motivation? Let's see, do you already have an idea that you are working on for Notjust Hack? Let me know. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Aditya. Hello, Ahyuga. Let me quickly show you what we already have in the application. So yesterday, I also added some features around saving data. So I have a My Profile that is going to contain information about my business. Maybe it actually should be My Business. or something like that. Yeah, I think not. It's not profile, it's the business information. And this is just simply the global store that is persisted on the phone. There is no backend here. I'm trying to do it as simple as possible, and that allowed us to simplify the forms to generate invoices because there is one step less. Now you do the invoice number, you do the recipient information, you do the items, and then you can see the summary, then generate invoice, and this is generating the PDF, after which you can share in the application on email or print it directly or go back home. That is what I have right now. As I was saying, I started preparation to submit it to the App Store. I'm gonna show you in a second. Here we have it. Worked a little bit on the app information. Did a little bit more research about keywords. I'm still like learning this keyword optimization. So yeah, we'll see how this will work. But I was trying to target the Invoice Generator keyword. And the application is in test flight. And by the way, I'm going to give you a link so that you could join the test flight if you would like to help me test the application. Because yesterday I was testing it and I found a bug. I'm going to show you in a second what that bug was. Even with an application as simple as that, like bugs will happen. So make sure to test it. So here is the external testers, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this link and give it here. Help me test the app here. Let me actually also leave you the React Native Mastery course link if you're interested. I hear you guys saying I'm building an AI interior application. That's such an amazing idea. I was actually looking for solutions like that recently when I was trying to redecorate my office here. So that would be nice. I built my MVP, but I need to set up EAS and do all that config stuff. Yeah, you can check out yesterday's video. It was quite a lot of configuration, but yeah. I think you can get started pretty easily. Like you can simply ignore Sentry and go straight to build and deploy. Hello, David. Oh, I have such a bad coffee. So I was saying that I had a problem with application. It was working fine here, but on the device it was stuck at the loading screen. So I was looking at the layout, and what was happening is I didn't have like this part. So what was happening is in the layout I was saying that the hydration finished to false, and I was subscribing to my store. When it finished, I was setting it back to true. And while it was not finished, I was returning null here. I was actually returning an activity indicator. So the problem was that it never passed through here, which means that this function never was called. I didn't debug it a lot, but I was thinking maybe when we call this use effect, the persistent actually happened. Because in debugging, in development, it was not happening. In production, it was happening. So I think maybe it was already happened. That's why it will never be called here. So that's why I said like, okay, let me try to check here. If the user store has already been hydrated, just set it to true, return, and don't do any subscription. However, if it hasn't been hydrated yet, subscribe to changes, and when it happens, only then set it to true. I sent an update over the air because I set it up using EAS update. And in 2 minutes, maybe less than that, I had the update on my phone. I tested it and everything was working fine. So that was a bit of things that I did this morning to fix something. Give me 1 sec. I'm just trying to see if maybe on expo.dev, if the last builds and submission happened. Yeah, it was today. So I'm still changing some of the stuff. It happened. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna just have to do the screenshots, some description keywords, and I should be ready to submit this to review, which I'm not gonna do now in the live. I'm going to do probably later. But now we need, hello Katalin, how are you doing? Hello Aditya. Beta is not accepting any new testers. Why is that? Let me check. External testing. Testers cannot join public link until this group has an approved build. Let me add the latest build here. Oh, approved by Apple. Okay, I think that's interesting. And I cannot select this one. Waiting for review, ready to submit, waiting for review. iOS 6. You can submit a build for testing if another build is already in review. In what review? What review are we talking about? Waiting for review, ready to submit, ready to submit. Waiting for review. Is it in distribution? Prepare for submission. Up review. I didn't submit anything for review. Beta build, waiting for review. Did I do that myself? It looks like today. Let me check my email. Test flight, App Store. Has completed processing. Okay, not what I need. I don't know. I don't see anything from my end. Anyway, I'm gonna double check like what's happening here with test flight. Maybe by Apple, but build 4 is in review, but I didn't finish like everything there. Okay, we'll see. You cannot add external testers until Apple review. You can invite developers in your Apple account and then add into internal testers. Okay, I see. So then first I'm gonna go through Apple review. I'm gonna try to submit it today in the evening or tomorrow in the morning, and hopefully, I don't know, by Monday. I need to do it as fast as possible because maybe, hopefully during the weekend it's going to be ready, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes. But anyway, let's continue working on some features. And here is my to-do list. We have a core features done. We have some tasks here. I think this is quite an important one. Like I'm going to even put like this here because what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to build an application that could rank well in Google, in Apple search, and that could work as a lead generation. Like that's how people would find it out, because I don't think I'm going to invest in any additional marketing for this kind of application. So that's why I was reading more around App Store optimization, specifically from these guys at Astro, the tool that I'm using. They published these 2 books. And somewhere here they mention like how important it is to ask for review. Here. So to climb the ranking for a specific keyword, we need two things: downloads and reviews. And the more popular the keyword, the more we will need. So the fuel that will bring our app to climb the ranking is reviews. The more reviews we have, the better. Every free download for our application, if it doesn't turn into a purchase, should at least turn into a positive review. To get reviews, there is only one way: ask. So the best way to do this is to show them an alert that asks if they like the app. If the answer is no, invite them to leave a feedback via email or a support page. If the answer is yes, show them an alert to leave a review using StoreKit. To summarize, to climb the ranking, in addition to following the advice on how to use these keywords, you also need to download downloads and reviews. The more reviews you ask for, the better. Do it often and as soon as possible. Okay, so that means that we need to ask people to review our application. There is a native window to ask on iOS. Let me remember how it's called. Expo review, store reviews. So Expo Store Review is a library that provides access to the Review Manager API and Review Controller on iOS. It allows you to ask user to rate your application without leaving the app itself. So it's going to be a pop-up like this. You write you rate the application, you submit, and then you can write the review. So let's go ahead and install this one and work on this feature. Git status. Let's try by installing it first. And I think I'm going to have to rebuild the application. So let's do npx expo pre-build to regenerate the native site code. And let's do npx expo run iOS. Can you add me on test flight? Can you please send me your email? I'm gonna add you on test flight, or I'm going to send you the link as soon as it's possible. I'm very happy for people wanting to help me. So if you are a person who is generating invoices in your workflow, please let me know, and I'm gonna give you access. I would love some feedback and prioritizing like what I should work on next. Can you please teach us in any for application you build by adding in-app ads for earning? In-app ads, okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, to be honest. Maybe we can do that next year, like in some of the tutorials. If you submit the app today, the today app could be reviewed by tomorrow until you should wait for Monday. So I'll have to prioritize submitting it today, right? Maybe I should actually do it during the live stream. Let's see. How can I build React Native Expo apps for testing on a device without an Apple developer account? How can I build React Native apps for testing on a device without an Apple developer account? To do that, you can use EAS. You can actually do it locally as well, or using EAS in the cloud by building, by using like this distribution internal. So the distribution internal, maybe I'm gonna find the documentation here, means that it's going to build a development client. It's not going to build it for the stores. So that one you could download and you can install on specific devices. Or you could run, as I'm running here, npx expo run iOS. And you can also do device to select the device, or how is it called? Maybe I can do help, configuration, and you can do debug, or maybe release for production, for building a production version locally. Okay, here is the application. It's running, perfect. Now I think we need to ask for it somewhere in the invoices generate success screen. I think somewhere here after the success screen, when I do to handle share, I do await share async, and do I get an answer when it when this is going to happen? Shared. Let me check this. Next. One. Next. Generate invoice. If I press the button share invoice, we don't see anything. And if I come back, it logs shared, which means that maybe the person will save it. And when he comes back, I know that he closed that thing. And I can ask him to review the application. So here, after the share, I'm not sure if he did it or not, but I can go ahead and ask for feedback. It is important that you follow the human interface design for iOS and guideline for Android. Specifically, don't call request from a button. Instead, try calling it after the user has finished some signature interaction in the application. Yeah, exactly, after sharing. Don't spam the user. Don't request a review when the user is doing something time sensitive like navigating. Don't ask the user any question before or while presenting the rating button or card. Write reviews. You can redirect an app user to write a review screen for an app in iOS App Store by using the query parameter action write review. For example, you can redirect. Request. In ideal circumstances, we will have to do request. Has action. So I believe we should do if has action, if store review has action. Well, what's the difference? Has action or is available? If a platform has the capability to use. Let's say if it doesn't, if it's not available, I'm going to return. If it's not, if it doesn't have action, we can do console log Otherwise, we're gonna do request review. So now if I do share invoice and I go back, something happened because I think shared. Oh, I didn't call this one, so I need to call it here. Oh, wait. Ask for review. Okay, here it is. So I can do not now, or I can do 5 stars. I cannot submit because I think I'm in development. Okay. Request was not successful. If an app config does not contain store URLs and native store reviews capability, store URLs. Should I do that here in my application? Where is it? In App Store or app.js for iOS, App Store URL, but it's not ready yet, right? I think it's gonna be this one. I'll have to double check that. But the question is, will it ask also for after submitting? Will it also ask for writing the review? That's the question. Okay, we're gonna test that. We're gonna see that. Are you doing Apple only or Play Store too? For now, I'm going to deploy it only to App Store to make it easier for me because I don't manage to do everything. And if the application works, if it shows success, like I'm going to do it on Android as well, because the application is supported on Android because it's built with React Native. Does Express support draw over application without ejecting? There is no thing like ejecting anymore. There is no such a process. Like I have Android and iOS folder, so anything that's possible in native development, it's possible in Expo as well. And then, oh, this is super important. I'm glad I caught this part. I had no idea there were standards and guidelines on doing this sort of thing. Yeah, there is. And there is also one question. How often are we requesting, are we going to ask for review? Because if I'm going to do it at every time, maybe that's going to be too much. So to do throttle this, don't ask for review every time. And there is also, the thing is that also request review does not give us any response. We don't know like if he reviewed it or not, because that we should not incentivize user in any how like, hey, you can do that. If you give a review, like we're gonna do something for you. So that's why I think we don't know, like we can only ask, but we don't know like what actually happened. That's also something interesting. A request review, promise void. Yeah. Review fail. Like, is that the case? What does failing mean? Yeah, I don't know. And another thing we can do here is soft ask for review. And what do I mean by that? If we want to maximize how many good reviews we get, we need to kind of know like if a user, because if we show him this store review sheet, let me check something. I'm wondering if it's actually going to be shown like as much as we can, as we are asking for. But what we should do is probably better show an alert, for example, or a model enjoying easy invoice generator. Please take a moment to write. Text, no thanks, or yes, love it. And not like anything about rating, like we shouldn't mention anything about rating. Did that work? I don't know. Something like this. So we would call this one soft task for review. Maybe I don't even have to wait here. So if I do this one and go back, we see, did that work? Are you enjoying the app so far? Not really, nothing happens, all good. If they do yes, love it, only then we're gonna show them this one. Because they told us like, yes, it's good. Hello, Mobin, thank you very much. Nice to see you here. Okay, so how do we do this one better? Let's maybe ask ChatGPT. I want to ask users of my app. Let me do that in the same 1 second. So I want to ask users of my app to rate the app. Before I show the native store review pop-up, I want to see what mode they are in, and if all good, only then help me with the copy of the texts for such a model. Can I do icons in the native alert? Cannot. I am using a native iOS alert. Maybe I'm going to even show him. Let's try this. Hello, Supro. I'm good. How are you doing? Just got to know about the hackathon. Super excited. Are you going to participate? That's the question. Now here the to do get feedback. Can I trigger expo linking send email? Mail composer allows you to compose and send emails quickly and easily using the iOS UI. This module can be used in iOS simulator since you can sign into email accounts on them. I'm trying to figure out how to get some feedback from users, because if they say no, like I would like to ask them to send some feedback. Compose opens a mail model for iOS and mail app intent for Android and fills the fields. Provided data on iOS, you will need to be signed into the mail application. Should I do that? How would that work on iOS? That's one way. I would do maybe linking open URL mail to. Let's try this approach. Maybe it's even easier. Cancel. And here on press open feedback form. Let's do const ask for feedback. So here is going to be ask for feedback. And what we're going to do in ask for feedback is we're going to show another alert. Please share your feedback with us. How can So if I do share, close, and when I say, no, I don't really like the application, how can we prove? Please share your feedback with us. Yes, let me tell you now or not now. Not now. Send feedback. Not really. Let me reload it again. How's your experience? Are you enjoying the app so far? Not really. How can we improve to share feedback with us? Send feedback. And that should, property linking doesn't exist. Yeah, I need to import it, sorry. No, I got back to next. Next, next, next. Share invoice, boom, not really. Send feedback, and that should do support, opening this email support. It kind of doesn't work because I think I don't have any mail client here. Send feedback. Is it true? I'm gonna try to run it on my device. Let me do that with NPX device and selecting my personal device. And it's going to take a bit of time, but then it should run there. And if not, I'm going to send an email to support notjust.dev. And I'm going to check if it works. Should I put this in into utils? Reviews? Like this. Maybe it should be put inside a custom hook. Ask for review. Request review or feedback. Let's export this function from here, request review or feedback, and call it here. Oh, no, not this one. This one, request for feedback or review. Okay, let's see if it still works. I'm gonna go back. And it doesn't, because I think even if I do here console log request for feedback, request for feedback. Yeah, it works. Yes, love it. It shows this one, not now. Not really, not now. Good. Not really, send feedback. It should open via the linking. Okay, good. And you know what else I'm going to do? Maybe I'm going to throttle. How do we throttle it? Like how many invoices we generate? Or maybe only once something. Let's see. What would be a good strategy on how often to ask for this? I am asking for feed review after the user generates an invoice. I'm thinking, should we do based on how many invoices you are running, like maybe every third invoice that you're generating to ask for feedback, or maybe based on time, so maybe every week, or maybe initially often, like initially every day for 2 or 3 days, then every week, and then every month, and so on. That's also interesting. Asking for review without a noise, since you're prompting for user. Here's a good strategy to ensure. Don't ask too early. Ensure the user have had enough time to explore the application. Ask only after user has generated 3+ invoices or user use the application for a minimum of 7 days. I'm going to try to follow another rule from here, is from the book, is like do it as fast as possible, as soon as possible. So I understand the value here of 3+ invoices because it shows that they get value, because if you generate once, maybe you don't like it so much, but if you do it 3 times, probably you are a repeat customer. That means that you like it. Space out, avoid asking for review too frequently, even if they generate invoices regularly. Example, show the prompt only after every 5 invoices generated. That's good. If a user declines or ignores the prompt, wait at least 30 days before asking again. Allow users to manually include the rate as option in the app settings menu, so users can leave the invoices before review, days before review. Invoice count and days since last review. I wouldn't leave a review for anything on my way out of the application. The comment I was replying to just vanished on me. Now I'm talking to myself. Oh, we have some comments. Let me check. Let me do it here. Where? Nice. We'll implement a simulate rate feature in my application. Good idea. Thank you. Super excited as well. Still super early. Plenty of time. Yeah, there is plenty of time. We just got started. I started building the application anytime I get spare time from work. Thing is, I fought for a better idea to work on, fair game to work on, and submit to projects. I would recommend you try to choose the one that you believe the most in and go with one. If you have one published, like then we can talk. But it's quite tough to publish one, so go ahead and do one. Maybe work on additional features and improvements, so put all your basket into one. Best month of the year, yes, let's go. Hello, Tarjan Davy. I'm trying to push my entire little team of devs to enter. One of the guys told me about it. Got an hour to join last night. 3 more to go and the whole team will be in, each with own projects. Amazing. I'm so happy for that. Let me actually... That's a dream. Come on. We all met by placing in the top of another dev challenge, so hoping between the group we can snag up some winner spots. Let's see. Good luck for you. Happy for that. Why would it go with native CLI? Is the hackathon for only indie developers? Like the hackathon is for all mobile developers, and we also, indie developers means individual developers, like not huge companies and so on. So it's okay to work solo, but it's also okay to work in a small team of up to 3 people. So that's what the hackathon is. And thank you very much, Digital, for explaining that. I'm not gonna add the source code of these applications because I'm building them as products. Like they are not educational. They don't have educational purpose in it. Are you using Unistyle sheet you emailed about? Not in this application. Here I'm using Native Wind. Is there any way to know if a user of app has left a review? I was talking about that, and no, as far as I know, there is no way to know that, because Apple doesn't want you to gamify it, doesn't want you to know that. Like you should ask, but it's up to them, like if you leave it or not. Because applications could give like discounts based on that and stuff like that, so they don't want that. I don't leave a review of anything on my way out of application. All right, thank you for the advice. Perfect. Okay, is anyone else in the same situation like now during the winter that it's either too hot or too cold? So the whole day is too cold. Now I'm too hot. So let me open the door to have some air. All right, so where are we? How are we gonna do this throttling? What would be the easy way? To do it time-based? Not more often than every 7 days. Yeah, let at least time-based. It's good. Last review date. Let's do that by going into the store and saying that, hey, we're gonna have a new variable here for reviews. Last review request date. Let's do at. And let's also go ahead here and say set last review request. And let's implement this one. Or let's go ahead here at the top, say that initially it was null. And here we're gonna set it to this one. Now I can go into the reviews and say, if I go for all of these and call this one, we're gonna do set last request review, new date. But how do we get access to the store? I think it's and here so if it has a value and datetime now minus last review dot get time is less than, what's this? This is probably 1 second. That's 1 minute. That's 1 hour. That's 1 day, and that's 30 days. I'm going to go with 7 days. So not more often than every 7 days. So now if I'm going to reload my application, generate an invoice. Oh, I'm not sharing the code. Sorry. We can see the code. Sorry, guys. So what I did was in the store, I added a new field to store when was the last time we asked for review, and a setter to update that. Here I initialized it with null. And here I just set it. Now in the reviews, when I actually ask for review, I set it to the current date. And when I call this request for reviewer feedback, I check if the last review request time was less than 7 days ago. Then I stop. If it was more than 7 days ago, I continue and ask for review. So let's try to check it. Next. Okay, invoice date to locale day string is not a function. Invoice, oh, date. What happened there? Let me check if that's not a problem actually. Invoice summary to locale here. This one can be, I don't know, due date, but I'm checking here if it's there. So yeah, maybe it was like some reloads that was happening in development. Next, generate. Share, now I should be asked. Maybe I do not really. Maybe I do not now. Back home. Now I shouldn't be asked. Next. Generate invoice. Share invoice. And I'm asked. Request for review. Let's review request. I'm wondering if this is going to update. So maybe. I'm going to transform this into a hook. Transform this file into a hook. Set last review request. Ask for review. Hopefully everything remains the same. Let's do accept. I'm going to remove everything else. Maybe I'm going to check if it's the same. I don't know if it's going to make sense or not. We're gonna trust the AI. Let's trust. Here I saw there is a problem with this thing. How's your experience? Are you enjoying it so far? So use reviews. I'm not going to export everything here. I'm going to do request reviewer feedback. Now from the success screen. Okay, now I hope that it's going to update there. So I go new invoice 1. Not really. Not now. Back home. And if I do again, I hope it's not going to ask it again. Share, stop, and it asks, what's happening? Ask for review. Here. Null. It's null because set last review request. We are doing this here, but actually shouldn't be there. You know what? Because this is only for the store. Should be here, request reviewer feedback. Alert. Well, right after showing this alert, we should do this. Or maybe even at the top, I don't know. So, after showing this alert, we already store it that we asked. So this is already considered as asking. If I do no, not now, and I try it again, it's not gonna ask me again. And even if I go and generate a new invoice, share, boom, it's not gonna ask me. And I hope even after I reload the application or maybe close it and open it again, new invoice, free, share invoice, boom, it doesn't ask me. And I really hope that this this is done correctly. Get time returns the millisecond. Yeah, I hope it does. It's correct. So after 7 days, well, after generating a new invoice, it should ask it again. So okay, I'm going to stop here. Should I log some events? So import custom event from Vexo Analytics. Should I go ahead and, for example, in request review or feedback, ask for feedback, ask for review, request review or feedback? Request review or feedback, just to have some analytics here to know like if it actually is happening. Then in ask for feedback, no, in ask for review, I'm going to do here request review, and here in the feedback, should I do here send feedback? Maybe no, maybe it's not that important. Because I'm gonna receive an email if they actually do, so I don't really need to know again, like in the analytics that they did that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I was meaning to test it on my Android, right? Do you save to GitHub? Would be interested to see your daily code. I save in GitHub, but I'm not sharing this one. Sorry. So, is it launching or not? Yeah, I'm trying to see it on the physical device, like if it's going to open the email client. Fetch development servers, come on. Trying the development build there. Nope, why not? Hey Kastush, how are you doing? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to do git add git commit minus m. Let's do here ask for review. And I'm gonna push it. Perfect. So that was asking for review. I just need to test it. I need some water and we continue. Could you start Expo Go server with tunneling? We will be able to check the application in live too. Actually, I'm already not using Expo Go for this application because I have some libraries that need native code. Such as this Zigo, which is used for native menus, for example. Like this one. Where is it? If I hold, this is the native menu from Zigo. Yeah, there is other things that need native code. So as you can see, I'm not using Expo Go. How did you do that confetti thing? That is low T. So basically, you go to low T files. You download one animation from here, or you can also generate your own through Adobe After Effects, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then using low T in the invoices success, you simply render a view like this with the low T file that you downloaded, and that's it. Nothing crazy. It's just like an animation. Okay. Look, what I'm going to work on. Multi-currency. Setting up the currency. Setting up the currency. Okay, setting up the currency might be something that we can look into, because I think, or maybe it's not the most important. Okay, let's say that it's not the most important, the currency, because if, yeah, this one, invoice history, like thinks about like saving data, right? Because right now, what I still want to do is I want to make it a little bit easier for people to generate invoices. And by making it easier, I mean asking them less information and helping them as much as possible. For example, auto-incrementing the invoice number is something that I really want to get. Where is it? Auto-increment invoice number, that's something that I want to do. There are some challenges there as well. Being able to save contacts and reuse them, that's something that I want to do. And then after you generate the invoice, being able to see a list of previous invoices that you generated. And I think like saving information about recipients is actually even more important than seeing like past invoices. What do you think? Should we work on past invoices or on storing contact informations, like businesses that you usually work with? Help me. Priorities, priorities, priorities. I would do a contact list outright. I'll put here probably a checkbox like save to contacts and maybe a way to find it. Okay. Oh, Katalin is helping. Thank you. Contact list. Because this one has like a lot of fields, like it has 3 fields, and if you are working with 3 or 4 clients, and maybe, yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and start working on the contact list. What do we need there? We need save contact details for future. Show a list of contacts. Select a contact when generating an invoice. Contacts tab with quick send invoice. So first of all, what we're going to do is, look, in the store, we're gonna say that, hey, our store has now a list of contacts. Contacts is going to be an array of business entities. The contact is going to be initialized here with empty array. We're going to have a function add contact, contacts business entity void. Okay. Maybe in future remove contact. Maybe edit contact. You see, it's already adding up. Bonus feature, pull a contact into the app from the contact list. Import from contact list. Not sure. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. So let's implement the add contact here. So we simply say contact. We just put it in the contacts array. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is, after I send the invoice, assets, not assets, application, invoices, in the success, if I get to the success, or maybe in the summary, when I press invoice generate success, that means that here I'm actually saving the invoice. So I'm going to go ahead and move this part. Move the link to a function with router push. extract function in the body of the component. Maybe. So I'm going to do that. Handle generate invoice. And let's go ahead and here do kind of save invoice. Because up until that moment, you are kind of generating the invoice, then you press save and it should be saved. So maybe I'm going to do another function here called save invoice, right? Save invoice. Yeah, I'm gonna think like if I need that save invoice. Now I'm going to do save contact. Add contact. Yeah, maybe add contact. Invoice. If invoice sender, then add contact like this. Not sender, but recipient. So after we generate an invoice, now we are automatically going to save that contact there. I'm gonna add here something like ID, maybe. Should we already think about adding IDs? Are you permanently moving towards cursor? I don't know, I'm experimenting. When I make invoices, the last thing I want to do is fill in client info that I just filled in last week on another invoice. So however you do the feature, I think it's top priority for sure. Yeah, thank you very much for that feedback. Perfect. So let's at least try to see what's going to happen here. So ABC, 1, 2, 3, like this. Next, next. You have a date there. Hopefully it's only in development while I'm here. Next, next, generate invoice. Back home, and now I should have a contact. To see that, let's go ahead in the tabs and add a tab contacts.tsx. Build the contacts page and show a list of contacts from the store. Hopefully it will understand that it's from the store. Okay, it knows from the store. No contacts yet. Your contacts will appear here after you create invoices. Okay, let's try to do yes. Let's try to save. Let's try to reload. And I have here a new tab. And I have this thing for the first user. Now I can create a new invoice with Acme Corp, Spain, 1, 2, 3, next, 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 back home, and a new contact should be added here. Yes. Perfect. Things are happening. Why are we doing it like this with a scroll view and not a flat list? Refactor to flat list. Maybe accept. So contacts. Yeah, we have it. Favorites. That's definitely here. Favorites. And let's try if contacts equal to 2. I just want to see this one. No contacts yet. Your contacts will appear here after you create invoices. Okay. 0. Here, usually I don't like to do margins. Instead, I like to do content container class name gap 2. Yep. Do I need a tax ID here? I don't think I need tax ID. That's going to be even simpler. Name and address. So we are kind of saving it. I'm gonna think like if I need conditionally saving and so on. Show a list of contacts. Contacts tab, we have it. Now the question is when we generate an invoice, or maybe let me do here icons, contacts. I think this one, contact book. So in the layout, it's going to be in between contacts, contacts book, contact book. Here in profile, this doesn't feel right to call it my profile, or maybe my business. Can React Native work with Express Server with JWT, Socket.io, and so on? Yes, it can. Make social media cross-platform application, make web. Now I have to build a mobile application. Maybe my details, my business, my details. Yeah. Definitely these pages could be improved, but we are good. I think we need IDs for our contacts. Business entity. Let's go ahead and go to the business entity here. And say business entity schema. Can I do Zod ID auto generate? I'm thinking if it can auto-generate it. If I can say like, hey, generate it. Default. You can use transforms to implement the concept of default values. String with default tuna. String with default parse. Okay. So in default, I can do crypto, and this crypto, it should come from Expo Crypto. Okay, like you see, like very small features, like you already start getting into complications, because so far our application is so easy. So easy, but now, it's interesting. So let me check what's gonna happen now. New invoice. Maybe even here, like if I go here, not sure what's gonna happen, but if I go here and say to new business, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, next. Doesn't want to go next because probably didn't do this one. Crypto does not exist. Yeah, I need to import crypto. And crypto get random UID like this. Okay, and now I'll have to rebuild the application. npx expo pre-build, npx expo run iOS to have access to the newly installed library called crypto to generate random UUIDs. So this is going to build, and while that is happening, hopefully I can still see the application, maybe not. npm start. Okay, I can still see it. Yeah, but the question is like when I get to, it's interesting. I go there and I already am the summary. I think for that, we have export initial route index to say that even if you get to any route there, new invoice. Yeah, there are some issues with our pages, so that's why. But the question is how we're gonna handle like the process of, has it been built? Wait a second. What just happened? Let's do that. I was saying like I'm thinking like how to process that when generating an invoice. Do you get a screen where you could select your previous contacts and then a button add new? Let's think. Okay. Act as a mobile US expert. For my invoice generation flow, I have multi-step form to get data for the invoice. One of the pages is information about the recipient who we are sending the invoice to. So far, the user had to always write this data. Now I added a contact list, so we need to update the invoice generation flow to take advantage of the contact list. How would you build the sender info page from the invoice generation flow? Let's see what it does. Ease of use, flexibility, and clarity. Search, that's something else that I need to add. Company. I don't get like what ChatGPT said here. Overcomplicated. So now if I go here, invoice number 1, go here, recipient, new business, 1, 2, 3, 1, generate, back home. In the contact list I have this new business. And the new business, if I'm going to go into the tabs, contacts, should also have an ID. And this ID ends with 5E2, and if I reload, it's going to still be E2. So that's going to be my key extractor. I don't need key extractor because it has the ID. Okay. Did you invite me for beta testing? No, not yet. Do I have your email? So my question is here, when we get on this page, I think this page should be a list of contacts that we can select from and a button add new that will display the form. Probably. That's only probably. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Recipient. Let's search user based on user membership number and attach it with them. What membership number? I sent it, but I don't know if you saved it. I don't think I got it. No. If you can share it again. That's how I do this, as well as a button to create a new invoice for contact. Yeah, like I think that's important. Like if you look at a contact to be able to create an invoice for them. But here I think we could have another page, not in the tabs, but in the invoice generate. Select contact.tsx. It's going to be quite similar to our tabs contacts. And if there is no contact, I'm going to do redirect href recipient. I'm gonna still figure out like how to do it better, but for now that's okay. Then I have a selector. Okay, so from index, I first navigate here to do. So I'm going to do contact. After index, I'm gonna go to contact. New invoice, invoice number 3. Next, we see the contact. To select it, right? We are going to be able to press on them. And maybe after pressing on them, we just move to the next screen. And are also able to edit that information if needed, right? Or no. Or if we select it, like that's the contact we will go with. Let's do here pressable. On press. So go here, invoice number 2. I select for example this one. I get this information. Do we want to allow it to be edited here, or do we skip it altogether, like if it was all good? Let's search user based on user membership number. Pre-fill the recipient's stamp with that information. Then on the invoice, I would have an add contact button to the form. Then on the invoice, I would have add contact button to the form. So that you can integrate from multiple starting points. Maybe I'm going to leave it like this. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go here. And before I generate the invoice, I'm gonna come back, like still figuring things out. But what I know is in the success here, in the summary, add contact, I'm gonna have to add it only if it doesn't already exist, right? Add contact from store. Let's go ahead in the store. That's why I added the ID, because I don't want to duplicate contacts. So add contact. Add contact if it doesn't already exist with that ID. Do you plan to go through Android release process on any applications? No, I think I'm gonna stick with iOS for now. So add contact, set state. I'm checking if contacts has at least one contact with that ID. If it exists, I'm going to return the state. Otherwise, I'm going to push him. So that means that now if I'm gonna go ahead here, invoice number 2, I'm gonna do new business. Next, generate invoice, and back home, it shouldn't add a new, it added a new. Why did it add a new one? So if I go ahead and one more time, press this new business with E2 at the end, next, back home, contact list, it didn't add. Maybe it was not yet reloaded. So if I go ahead, invoice 5, this new business, next, back home, it adds a new one. Oh, that's interesting. What is going on? Recipient information. Can I have a different ID? But why? Because I have their... Maybe in the scheme I shouldn't have like default with ID, but why? So let's think about it together again. And it only happens when, like it doesn't happen always. It happens only once after I reload the application. Maybe that's a moment where something is happening. I don't know what. For example, we have now 3. If I press again new business here, generate an invoice for them, back home, I have a 4th one. Maybe in the schema, I shouldn't have this one. But it's going to try to validate, and it's not going to be there when you add it. In the generate recipient, It's going to be recipient ID or crypto random UID if it's not there. Would that work? If I do new invoice, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 new businesses. Back home in contacts, I still have them. Yeah, and if I go here, and they are not here, what I need to do is I need a button to add a new contact. You mentioned you are doing a stream with someone from Revenue Cat. Is there a dead set? I have some questions to ask. Actually, I don't have that planned. It was another person. It's not a person from Revenue Cat. It's an indie developer who is building applications. But maybe we should invite actually someone from Revenue Cat. Let me know, like, if you're interested. Maybe we can do something. The question is right now, should you be able, if you press on this button, should you be able to edit the information on the invoice for a specific contact? No, I don't think you should. If you want to edit, maybe you go back and edit the actual contact. That means that the next page, this recipient form, should be somehow part of this page. Yes is what? Yes, you should be able to change the data. I forgot what I asked, how I formulated the question. And why? Why do you think you should be able to change it? As part of the invoice generation process. You should be able to edit it before you download it or send it to anyone. Look, I'm thinking on this contact page to have a button at the top, right? Add a list header component with a button to create a new contact. But change it if you made a mistake. Probably it's like editing the contact itself, because it's not just for an invoice. For an invoice, you shouldn't have to change it. If you change it, it's either on the contact itself, which probably should be outside of this invoice. Like, I'm thinking like how to simplify how you generate an invoice. List header, let's see, list header, and let's put it here. Create new contact. Should I do the same as here? Pressable, background color gray. Not like that is there at the top. So if you add recipient info here, you press, you can go to the next step. Like from recipient, you go to items directly. So if I press here, I go directly to items. But if I press on create new contact, I go here. Yeah, these kind of things are not super easy to think about, like how to make it easier. Anyway, I'm gonna improve it later. Let me think. Like create new content. Like the problem is that now if I press on something like this and go back, and if I do create new contact, it's going to be here. So that means that when I press on create new contact, I should do add recipient info null. And it should be allow investor to take out the recipient info. Store. So if I set here, it's going to go there. If I go back and press create new contact, it's going to reset it. And here we're going to create a brand new contact with this address, tax ID, next. Yeah, need to restart from the start. New invoice number 3, next. I can do for an existing company like new business. Next, new business, good. I can double check that in the HTML, in the generated invoice. Yeah, there is new business. And I can do also go here, invoice number, I don't know what, next, and I can press maybe new business, but then say, oh, no, actually, it's not that one. I need to create a new one. Say brand new. Next. This is brand new. Generate invoice, share invoice, and in the PDF, it's brand new. And back home in contact list, we should have a brand new here at the bottom of the screen. Perfect. Another thing, when we add contacts, maybe we should add them at the top. What do you think? Not at the bottom. And I can simplify this without any reordering by doing, when adding contact, I'm gonna do contact and only then the existing ones. Okay, so now hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. It's still, I am thinking like how to improve the UI, the styles here. But anyway, create new contact. next. I have it here. Generate invoice, back home. And it's at the top. Good. On this context, I don't need the ID anymore. The source code is not public. No, sorry. And in this layout, recipe. Let's do invoice, select contact. I don't like this button being at the top because you cannot like tap it easily. Where should I put it? Somewhere at the bottom in the footer, like create new contact. CD-ROM, share the email. Is there a chance that YouTube is hiding the emails? Where did you share the email? Ojivan is saying this event has pushed me to start an application. I've had an idea for a while now. Awesome. That's the whole goal of this event. I'm happy to hear that. Amazing. Bottom right as a green circle. Yeah, I was also thinking about that maybe. In the context to have here. Add a floating plus button in the middle right corner, bottom right corner. Here. Oh, where it disappeared, except the color should be, where is it? Background emerald. Bottom 6. Bottom 10 maybe. Right. 6. Age 20. Width 20. And here replace with an icon. New invoice for next. Okay. 20, is it too much? 20? Okay, that's better. So that means that we no longer need the list header component. If we're not going to have contacts, we're going to automatically be redirected to the recipients to create a new one. So from here, select contact. Hopefully it's going to be clear, but if it's not here, we just put plus. New contact, let's do here. Where is it? Here, recipient, or let's call it new contact. New contact. In the layout, new contact. And from where? From index, we go here, but we could also do automatically, we could check. Number of contacts. So if number of contacts is 0, we go to new contact. Otherwise, we go to contact. And from here, we have new contact. New invoice, invoice number 6. We are here, we select this one, we send him an invoice back home. Nice. Oh, that's good. Let me do some git add things. Contact list. So we have ID, save contact details for future. Is there, should we, in the new invoice, when we create a new contact, add a checkbox here to save contact in the list? Maybe you don't need to save him, or we just save all of them. Let's save all of them. Show a list of contacts, select a contact when generating an invoice. Quick send invoice. Let's work on this one. So what I want to do is, by being here in the contacts, I can do send an invoice. For that, let me go ahead in this one and say add a button in the, but not here, in the contact list. Add a link button on the right with title new invoice. Okay, that's going to be too much probably. And I actually wanted a little bit different to do that. I'm going to do anyway. Let's just improve the design a bit later, but now I want here to do You know what? Let me extract this one. Extract the contact list item to a separate component inside tabs. I don't know. Don't like what you're doing here. Extract contact list item in a separate component. Let's apply. Good. Yes. Yes. So, I don't even need the renaming. Come on. Yes. What are you doing? Come on. Yes, accept. Good. What I wanted to do if I go here is to have const on new invoice pressed. And look what we're gonna do. We're going to say, hey, const yeah, basically we're gonna do add recipient information info. But at the same time, we're gonna create a new invoice. Or how's it called? Start new invoice. Get profile. Items, date, due date. So let's start a new invoice. Let's add the recipient information and let's do router push invoices generate here. And when we call this function, we call that one. Now, if I press on one of these, we're gonna set the number and we're gonna do next. It's gonna still bring us here. But we're gonna try to handle this navigation next. Like now it's getting a little bit more complicated how where next we mean. So maybe later we're gonna improve this, but here we're gonna do check if it already has contact info, then redirect to items. If invoice recipient, then items. Yes. Recipient info, which means that yes. That's what I mean. Generate invoice back home. I go here and say I'm going to issue an invoice to Acme Corp, new invoice. I say invoice number 6. Next, I already add numbers, and here I see Acme Corp. Go back. And there is no way to change that, but that's okay. Generate invoice back home. But if I go from new invoice and do that, I need to select something. Perfect. So now there is an easy way to go from here to here. Digital is saying, just want to say thank you for sharing your process live every day. Very helpful. I've never used any native framework or developed a mobile application, so this is huge learning curve for me. I'll have to go back and watch more of the streams because these are jam-packed with insights into the overall process. Thank you very much. I appreciate that you enjoy this raw process. Like sometimes it's difficult, but yeah, like this is what it takes. Now I'm thinking like, I don't like the text new invoice is quite repetitive here. So what do we do here with that? Do we have, when we press on one of these items, we go to their details page, and there we have some quick action items like send the invoice. Again, that's already, again, overcomplicating it. An invoice icon. Is it going to be enough? Maybe it's going to be enough. So I'm going to look in the bottom tabs. Here I have file invoice. I'm going to render this one in the tabs contact. Import font awesome from Expo Vector Icons and add this one press there. The color is going to be, how's it called? I need to find that emerald color. I will do it green, but the size it's, I don't know, 20. So if I go to contacts, I see that here. Maybe it shouldn't even be like emerald as the buttons. Or maybe it should. I'll look how it looks. Tailwind colors. Emerald 500. And if I press on it, I'm gonna go and send them an invoice. Or I can do it with gray, like this. Yeah, maybe this is good. So that's our quick send invoice. Editing a contact. 1 second, give me a break. Removing a contact. Removing a contact is not that complicated. removing a contact, we're gonna look at let's do git status contact list quick send invoice. So what I want to do is I want to delete a contact, and I will do that using the same. If I look in the invoice generate part, I'm gonna see items, and items I see this context menu, context root, and so on. So let's go ahead and add a context menu here. Let's import context menu. Where is it? And after the trigger, we need to provide the menu. So here, context content, like this. So if I go here and hover over something, I see delete. What's happening when we do delete? Well, we need to call delete contact and send here contact.id. Delete contact can come from store, and in store, let's go ahead and implement it. Store index, delete contact by ID. Let's implement it here. And what it does, it filters out the contact with that ID. So if I'm gonna go here and look through these businesses and can do delete, it goes away, delete, and delete, and it goes away. Perfect. So that is our deleting the contacts and cleaning up stuff. Git add. It took us literally what, 2 minutes? Git commit -m delete contact. Good. I'm thinking if adding reanimated layout and reanimated layout animations, it's going to be that like easy but nice to have features. For example, I could add this feature to better like to add animations when we remove stuff. So let's see if we can do that. I'm getting into something that I probably should not, but let's see. Come on, my keyboard is not working. Now we need to add the animated plugin in Babel config as the last one, I think, right? Has to be last. Wrap metro config with animated wrapper. This is recommended for metro config, but it has with native config. I don't know if I need that because it's recommended. So now let's go ahead and do npm npx expo pre-build, npx expo run iOS to rerun it on my device. And while that is happening, I'm gonna grab some water. Okay, still building, right? Okay, so here we are. Let's see. The documentation for layout animations. Entering, exiting animations. So we need fade in, fade out. Let's give it just a try. That is going to be in our tabs contacts. We're gonna import this fade in, fade out, and we need to import should we do an animated view? Let's do import animated, and let's try to put this whole thing into an animated view. Maybe not everything actually. Maybe only this trigger animated view with entering and exiting. And if I go here, what happened? I lost my data. By the way, guys, if you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe to the channel, not to miss our future videos. That helps us a lot, so thank you very much. Look, it already had that one. And if I do what? If I remove this one, delete. Yeah, not sure what's happening, but okay. I think that's what I'm looking for. List layout animation. Animated flat list. So I need to do animated.flatlist, and here item layout linear transition. Is that what I have to do? Maybe not here, maybe this one. Delete. Yes, cool. And I will delete these two things from here. I don't need them anymore. Let's go ahead and try to create a new invoice for a new company. ABC 123 123. Next, next, next. Back home. Maybe a new one. Back home. And if I delete ABC, look at this. Boom. Perfect. That's what I wanted. I got it. Git add, git commit, list animation. It looked like both were renamed 123, and it was likely deleting based on name or some other shared identifier, just a guess. When did that happen? What did I miss? Both were named 123. Deleting based is maybe in the past, like I had like remember I had like some contacts without ID. So if I try to delete a contact with undefined and I had like more of them with undefined, maybe in that case it deleted more items than like all of them with undefined. But now all of them will have an ID, hopefully. So it's going to be better. So remove contact, we have it. Editing a contact. We could do that, right? This was like 3-4 deletes ago when you were doing the animation. Yeah, I believe it was that case when I deleted one with ID undefined and I had like multiple contacts. Yeah, I believe so. So now, let's go ahead and add the possibility to edit a contact. So for that reason, in our tab, the contacts now will become a group of screens. Like the tab contacts at the bottom will become a group of screens. So for that reason, I'm going to create a folder contacts. I'm going to move contacts here as index. I'm going to make a underscore layout file here to say that inside this contacts tab, the other screens inside here, they will be a stack. So export, okay, not outlet, but stack. So now what does that mean? If I go here, we see contacts and index. Okay. I'm going to hide some of them. We'll see which one a bit later. But I'm going to have one with edit, or maybe it's going to be a folder with the ID of a contact, and inside there I'm going to have edit.tsx. Export contacts edit screen, text edit. Let's do that. So now if I go into the index and say that there will be an context menu item called edit, it's not going to be destructive, and on select it's going to do router.push/contacts ID edit, and it's going to say edit. And the icon is going to be pencil, maybe, I don't know how it's called, with maybe no color. Let's see what's happening if I do that. Yeah, we have edit here. So I can press edit and I should be redirected to the edit screen. Let's try again. Edit screen. And I can go back here. Perfect. That means that I was also looking at the headers. That means that the header from the tab in the layout here, contacts, header shown false. It's going to hide that header because the contacts itself has its own header, and I'm going to adjust only the titles of the screens. Stack.screen name index screen or options. Title is going to be contacts. This one, contacts. And the one with the name ID/edit will be edit contact. So if I go here, edit, we go to edit contact. Perfect. Now in the edit contact, I'm gonna have kind of the same fields as the create contact, which for me was here in the generate new contact. Kind of the same thing as here. Let me just copy everything into the contact ID edit. Let's do here edit contact screen. Let's figure out this part. Edit. We get here. We're gonna start with the following thing. We're gonna know the ID from the search parameters, and that ID is going to be of type string. Based on that ID, we can take contact information from the store by looking and finding that contact with ID. We're gonna take that contact from the store and we're gonna set it to the default values of our edit screen. Contact name, contact. Like this. Which means that now if I'm going to do edit here, the default values will be of that business. If I do brand new here, the default values will be of that brand. Good. I can edit stuff there. And on submit, I need to have a function in my store called update contact. Sorry, drank some cola. So here we're gonna have update contact. We're gonna send this content here. Let's go ahead and implement the function. What should happen when we want to update contact? We're gonna do contacts.state map. If the ID is equal to the one that we are updating, then we're gonna replace. Otherwise, we're gonna leave it as it was. So now, from that edit screen, we just need access to that update contact and call it on submit. And then we do router.back. So I don't need anything else here. This I can do edges like this. So now I can go ahead and change, for example, tax ID here to 123 to brand new and rename it to brand new business. I can do next, and here it becomes brand new business. And that is not the tax ID, we cannot see it, but if I go back, it's here. Address, it's USA. Next, it's USA. But if I do some changes, validation still works, so I cannot do this. And if I do something and I don't save, come back and it's not actually saved. Yeah, good. I think it works nicely. Only the button should not be save or update, or just save. Okay. Okay, that was git add, git commit -m edit contact. Okay, now we can also edit a contact. But at the top it shouldn't be new. At all, like we don't need anything there. It's just this. Do you think a swipe left on these cards to show edit and delete would work better here? That's also a very common way to interact it, and I was actually looking at some of the ways Apple is actually doing it. And I think they are, in some cases, they are doing it both ways, like even this with menu and with swipe to delete. But yeah, that swipe can be implemented with reanimated as well. Not sure if I want to get into it. Reanimated, swipeable. From gesture handler, actually. So things like that. Yeah, maybe later. Let me add it here. Swipeable menus, edit, delete, swappable, swipeable. Okay. And now if I'm going to do a new invoice, next, I can select brand new business, and it's going to be a brand new business here as well. And if I generated invoice, if I do print, hopefully there is brand new business. I cannot see it properly. Nice. Okay, good. So contact list, import contact from favorites and search. Maybe search is important and it's not super complicated to be implemented. And especially here on this page, the search, let's try to do it. So what I'm going to do is in the application, invoice, contact, here we have a list of contacts. Let me see if I want to go with stack navigation search bar. Go with React navigation search bar. There is a way to add a search bar here as well. Header search bar options. Should we try to do that here in this contact list? So if I go to new invoice, I go here, next, React doesn't exist. Should be just use state simply. New invoice, to here. Okay. Cancel. Let's see, figure out how to fix it, render work with it properly. You also need to specify content instant to the flat list. So we have a flat list here. We need to do this one. Should I try to do it also on the context page and then just simply duplicate it here? Easier. So tabs, context, index. Oh, it shouldn't be there. It should be here. So if I go here, there is a way for me to search contacts. By default, if I come here, it's not visible. But if I pull down, I get the search. And I can start searching something. Can do cancel. How to close, I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. But here, using this search, I can filter contacts like this. So I can take filtered contacts and display them here. So initially, we're gonna see all of them. If I do here business, we're gonna see it like this. Oh, and it's so nice that we added the animation, because as you can see, brand. And you know what? This one that we have here can be a list empty component. So the text is going to be a bit different, whether if we have some search or not. So it's going to be if search, then something, otherwise this. What I mean by that is like no context matching your search, or no context in general. Nice. But yeah, it's not going to be open initially. Let's see from the options more information. Autofocus, bar tint color, cancel button text. While searching, it hides the bar. Do we want that? Yeah, I think that's good. I think that one is by default. Bar hide when scrolling. Boolean in the game whether to hide a search bar when scrolling. Default to true. So as we scroll, I think when we're gonna have a lot of items, but I can check that. Padding Y 96. So as we scroll, it's going to be hidden. Hide when scrolling, input type text. Text color. Only on Android. how do you do auto? Okay, something like this. And on here, let me see what we have. I'm gonna have the same way of filtering the contact based on the search, and we're gonna use this filtered contact here, and we can use the same list empty components. And I don't think we actually need anything more. So if I go here to create a new invoice, next, here it's open automatically. Maybe that's good. New. And I will do the same for this one. Item layout animation here. And let's make this one an animated flat list, because you're gonna see it's way better the way it looks when you search. Come on. So it's a lot of features and new stuff we add here. Is any way to found how I use params for Expo? Expo router use local search params. If you're looking for a documentation, this is the one that you're looking for. Here it explains how they work. What don't you like here? Oh, because animated was imported from React Native when it should be from reanimated, like this. Come on. What's going on here with my emulator? Very slow. So if I go here, perfect. All right, so that was what? Searching, right? Git status, git add, git commit -m, search contact. Perfect. Okay, nice. And I'm going to keep this import from contact list and favorites somewhere else, because now I'm going to put this contact list like this. Nice to have. Okay, so this is the save and manage contacts done, right? Anything else that we need there? Contact list. Save contact detail for future. We can add, edit, remove, send a new invoice to them. Maybe later we're gonna do contact details page with quick actions to them and maybe some information like how many invoices we sent them and so on. But for now, I think it's good. Okay, we still have some time today, and I'm thinking what would be the next feature that I cover. Saving the invoice history, multi-currency, auto-incrementing the invoice number. I think auto-incrementing invoice number depends on invoice history because I need to know what was the previous invoice number to generate it here. Let's see how fast we can achieve this one. Give me a second. I come back and we implement this feature. Invoice history. Okay. So the invoice history, let's start with our store. We have here the new invoice that we are working with. Maybe I'm going to put here. And invoices. Let's just do invoices, right? And they should have all the details already. Maybe. Now, when we get where our application, we create an invoice, we do this, we come here, generate invoice. When we press on this button, I think that's the moment when we generate the invoice. So, contacts. I think we're gonna have start new invoice and save invoice. And the save invoice is going to be the moment when it's going from new to actually saved. So, we're gonna have features like, we're gonna have here invoices empty thing. the save invoice is going to do this. It's going to add the new invoice at the beginning of that list of invoices. And I think it should also reset the new invoice. Or I can do that in one call. Do I need to use this new invoice? I think I can do just state.new invoice. And here I'm going to do as invoice, but I need to fix it because it might be not complete when we call this function. So this is a bit risky. So I'm going to add it there, and I'm going to do new invoice equal null. I cannot do that. I can do that. Why I cannot do that here? Yeah, I can do that in one call. But there will be a challenge because in the success screen, we are still working with a new invoice. So we're going to have to think about that in a second. Let's go ahead and this invoice generate summary. Invoices generate summary. First of all, invoices will also need an ID. Let's do that now. Invoices will need an ID. So in the store, in the schema, similar to how we have here ID, our invoice will have ID as well. Now, when we get here, where do we create an invoice? Is it that in the store? Start new invoice. Start new invoice we need to already get an ID there. Okay, in the summary, this add contact, I think can be done as part of a save invoice. So in the store, where we have save invoice, now back in summary, what I should do here is actually called save invoice. Hello, Jamie. You're waiting for Apple to verify the developer account. Yeah, that can take a bit of time. Good luck with that. For me, it's going very well. Today I'm having like a lot of improvements. So save invoice. But I don't need to send anything, right? Because I'm working with a new invoice and I'm calling save invoice, which will take that one and save it. Back into my summary, I just call save invoice and I push there. This is not gonna work, because if I do here one, next, yeah, you see, it doesn't work. But that's not what I was expecting. New invoice, one, next, doesn't work. Why? In the store, start new invoice, we do ID here. And from the index, tabs index, on new invoice, it calls start new invoice and pushes there. Which means that when I get to index here, invoice info, I think I need to take that one out of invoice info, the ID, and put it in the invoice here, because it's not editable. So I just need to put it here. But this one is a type. A string? Yeah, why not? New invoice, invoice number 1. Okay, this one, generate invoice. And here it's where it's a problem, but I was expecting that. Because on generate success, I'm working with a new invoice. Which is not really correct. So let's try to have here invoices a folder with ID for a specific invoice and move the success there. Now in the success, I can take invoice. Well, I can take first the ID from the local search parameters, and then I can do find from invoices the invoice with that ID. Subtotal and total probably again is not going to work. To do fix no longer working with new invoice. It will give us 0 probably, but anyway. Reset new invoice. This one also probably shouldn't be done here, but let's just see if we can still see that PDF. So new invoice, blah, blah, blah. Next, generate invoice, fail to generate PDF. Why? Do we have more info? Remote text input session. Emoji search operation, invoice number of undefined. Generate PDF. Generate invoice PDF. Generate PDF. So it works with invoice. Can I do console log invoice and see what data do we have here? Invoice undefined. Yeah, because, okay, I'm not even redirecting here, I believe. Because in the summary, I need to do invoices. Here I need to put the ID of a generated invoice and then /success. New invoice, one, new business, boom, boom, boom. It was created correctly. I can save to file with the invoice number. Let's do markup. Yeah, only the total and subtotal is not matching. The rest is good. Perfect. Back home. Add PDF URL to invoice data. Trail is saying I tried to submit the app to App Store last night via EIS and got an error back from Apple that said try again later. But what exactly was the issue? So, what do I want to do? I can already try to render previous invoices. That would be on the home tab here. I don't know. UI wise, that's killing me a bit. Yeah, try again. Hopefully it's gonna work this time. Okay, let me figure out this subtotal and total, because they were working on here where get subtotal. I think I'm going to extract them to utilities. Utils invoice TS. The totals and subtotal. Let's do like this. Const it what? Needs an array of items. Invoice items. It's going to go through them. Yeah. And same here. We just call this get subtotal with that items, export const. This is get total, right? I'm going to do here total equals subtotal to simplify stuff. And just like that. Now in our store, I'm not gonna handle this anymore. I'm going to remove them from here as well. It's not part of a store anymore. And I'm gonna look get subtotal. That was working in the summary. So subtotal basically subtotal is going to be equal to get subtotal based on invoice dot items, and total is going to be equal to get total based on invoice items. Maybe it should be one with summary items and so on, just one function that would do both of this. I believe that would be easier. Export const get totals. We're gonna get an invoice. Maybe the invoice will tell like the tax and so on. And that's the only thing that we export from here. So get totals. We're gonna send their invoice. Should we do it as a partial invoice? Yeah, something like that. So here, it can also be null for some reason. Okay, and let's do the same here in the invoice TSX. Okay, in the success screen, we're gonna do const totals equal get totals invoice. And I don't need these ones. Okay, now it should probably work. Let's go new invoice. Next, this one, 100. So the total is 100. If I add one more item with a price, the total is going to be calculated, generate invoice, share, markup, and here it's also updated. Perfect, that's good. Back home. So let's go git add, git commit, save invoice. I'm still not sure where is it? Assets, application, invoices. At the moment, we generate this PDF in the success screen. I think that's a good place to just for UX to move to the success screen as fast as possible, and not to do it like when we press actually here. Oh, you were able to submit to Play Store. Nice. That's good. That's really good. So in the success screen, we get the invoice. Okay, I'm gonna think about this a bit later, because I'm gonna have to think like, what if you want to regenerate it? What if you want to edit some information then generate it again? Feature idea for next version: allow user to choose templates for invoices. Yeah, I think that's an important one. That could be like how we monetize it. That's here somewhere. Pro templates. Definitely. Okay, dokie. What do we do with this history? Question. Do we show the list of previous invoices on the home screen, or do we keep the home screen clean with maybe later some statistics, some numbers, and the new invoice button, and we put previous invoices in another page with invoices? I think I would actually separate them, because maybe not always you want to see past invoices, not to always see them, like not to be heavy on the data. So maybe I'm going to add here a new tab, invoices.tsx. And in fact, that's probably, yeah, let's start with just invoices.tsx. And this is going to be a list of invoices. So export default invoices. No. Render. Render a flat list of invoices from the store. Let's see. In the layout, the index, there will be another one here, invoices. The index is going to be home screen, or yeah, the tab bar icon is going to be probably home. And this one is going to be the list of invoices. But, 1 second, let's see. Font Awesome 6, home. No, there is no, doesn't load here. Let's try this one. So invoices here, what's happening? I don't know. Render invoice. Invoice. Item.date question mark. What's the problem here? Is not a function. Okay. In the layout, I don't need header shown false. Invoices. Good. So now these are coming from our store. What's up with item.date? Console log item. And the date is a string. The date is a string. Why the date is a string? In the store. Invoice. Invoice has invoice info and invoice info. This is a date. Why is it a string? Let's try to render the type of. string, 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 string. But if I'm going to create a new invoice now, before loading it from the store, while we are still here, it's object. And if I reload the application, that same invoice is already a string. Because we need to because it's being saved and then read again. Invoice schema, invoice. Date invoice. Sort. To bug. Values are converted to string before replace her function, so I cannot convert it back to date because I couldn't apply type date to convert it. Oh, look at this. We have to do this one. Return type date value to is a string. This helper function enables you to create a storage object, which is useful when you want to use a custom storage engine. Interesting. Instead of date, do this. So it's on the store. Get storage. think I need to do it like this. Here, storage. Storage, state storage. I need to type it properly. Then check. What it doesn't like. Undefined is not assigned to type state storage. Here is the storage. Okay, storage. Oh boy, that's tough. String, 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 string. If value. So if I create a new invoice, and I do back home and come here, it's object. And if I reload the application and I come here, it's string. So people here, should I follow their advice for replacing and reviver? New invoice. Back home. If I look here, it's object. If I reload, it doesn't work because I believe I don't have this parse int. It's object. It's object. You see? So now if we go ahead and delete all the invoices, right? Should I implement a feature now to delete invoices, or should I just go into the when I start new invoice, I will do invoices equal to this. So if I press new invoice, I'm gonna remove all the invoices. Now if I reload, I don't have any invoice. Nice. So does it mean that now I can go ahead and delete this type off and just show item.date dot locale string? If I do a new invoice, one. Good, back home. If I go here, 5/12. If I change the date here to January 2025, invoice number 2. Back home. it's 5/1/2025. If I reload and go back here, 5/1/2025. I think it works. I think this part works. And it gives me back the invoices. Okay, it's a little bit strange. So maybe I'm going to in the store get the storage.ts. And let's try to move this one here, not to look at it, because it's weird. Export const, create. Okay. Import storage. How is that? Like this. Okay, so it works. Nice. New invoice. Boom, 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 boom. Nice. Do I have console logs anywhere? Let me check. Console log item. And it would be nice, like later, to add like a possibility to view the where save invoice history, view past invoices, view past PDF, and so on. Okay, but now it works. So I'm gonna do git add, git commit -m invoice history. And with that, I think I'm going to do a git put origin main. And we are done for today. Oh, that was intense, but we got from a simple invoice generator application to being able to store contacts, being able to edit them, delete them, and so on, being able to see the invoice history, improving the invoice generation part with being able to search for contacts and pre-fill the values, or if you don't want, you can create a new one. Test new. Let me check if it's actually working. Next, test new, create invoice, back home. In the contact list, we're gonna have a new test new. Here we see that this invoice was to test new. Perfect, amazing. I think that's good. What I'm going to do next, my plan is to try to submit the application to App Store review today in the evening. So hopefully by tomorrow, but I really doubt that by tomorrow we're gonna have any answers, but at least to get this process started, because I know it takes a lot of time. And tomorrow I want to continue improving this, thinking about like exactly what fields an invoice needs, adding this, because now we have a whole system ready. We just need to add like maybe additional input, maybe additional data, improving this on this, and having it ready as the next version. I'm not gonna try to push this version yet on the store because I still need to test it. I feel that we added a lot of features, and I'm afraid like not to include any bugs. So now first step is to go ahead and try to get this one on the store, get it reviewed as a simple version, and then come back with improved features. So that was the progress today. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Hello, Catalin. Thank you very much for being here. I wish you good luck with your participation at Notjust Hack. And just to recap, Notjust Hack is our 1 month long hackathon where we invite you to build and launch an application. It's online for mobile developers this December. All you have to do is build and launch an application to the market, and you have a chance to win these prizes. More information about that you can get at notjusthack.com, and while there, make sure to sign up. And if you enjoy this one, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because during this December, I'm also building applications daily. I built 4 applications in 4 weeks. And if you want to learn and master React Native with Expo, make sure to check out our latest course, React Native Mastery, by going to notjust.dev React Native Mastery. notjust.dev/React Native Mastery, that's where you'll find more information. Thank you very much for being here, and